All right, so today we're going deep on something pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's about Pete Hegseth
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
and his tattoos and like a
Yeah,
controversy.
big controversy tattoos in the Pentagon.
Yeah, so like he's this Fox News guy, right?
Yeah.
And he was in the Army National Guard,
Right.
and now Trump wants him to be,
To run the Pentagon.
yeah, Secretary of
Big
Defense.
huge.
Job huge.
Yeah.
But some people are saying that his tattoos
Yeah.
mean that he shouldn't be allowed to,
To have that job.
have this job.
Yeah.
So it's not really about like,
His experience or
Yeah.
the qualifications or anything like that. It's just what's on his skin.
yeah, it's crazy. So we're talking about
Like, what kind of tattoos are we talking about here?
so he's got a Jerusalem cross on his chest,
Okay.
and then on his bicep he has Delis Volt.
Which,
It's Latin for God wills it.
God wills it.
Yeah, and that's the one that's causing all the trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the Associated Press, they reported that somebody who was in the guard with him,
Okay.
who was like on some anti-terrorism team or something,
Oh, wow.
saw his tattoo
Yeah.
and said that he was
A threat.
like an insider threat.
That's a threat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty serious.
it is.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, like, hasn't he already had to deal with this kind of thing before?
Yeah, when he got the Jerusalem cross tattoo,
Right.
back then people were already calling him an extremist, and he
Wow.
had to, defend himself.
No.
But this time he hasn't said anything about the Deus Vault thing.
Oh, interesting.
And now you've got, like, J.B. Vance
Yeah.
coming in and defending Hegseth,
Right.
calling the AP's reporting, like, disgusting anti-Christian bigotry.
So is this like a real concern about extremism, or is this just like an attack on religion?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
It's hard to know what to think.
Yeah.
So we need more information.
Like, we need to know more about these symbols.
Yeah, like what does this Jerusalem cross actually mean?
Right. Like, it's not just some random design.
Right.
It actually represents the 5 wounds of Christ.
During the crucifixion.
Yeah, from the crucifixion.
Oh, wow.
So it has, like, a really deep meaning in Christianity.
But there's always a but.
There's always a but, right?
Like, haven't these symbols also been used by other groups?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like hate groups?
Yeah, like extremist groups.
Yeah.
They like to take these powerful symbols and...
Twist them.
Yeah, and twist them to fit their own agenda.
So how are we supposed to know?
Right.
Like what to think?
Yeah, how do we interpret these things?
Like, does the context matter more
Yeah, that's what I think.
than the symbol itself?
Yeah, I think context is everything.
Right.
You can't just look at a symbol in isolation.
Right.
You have to look at the person's actions,
Their words.
their history.
Like everything.
Yeah, the whole picture.
Right. A tattoo doesn't tell you the whole story.
Exactly. And this idea that, we can judge whether someone's fit for office or not based on their personal life.
Yeah.
That's a really tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the first time
Right.
that Hegseth's personal life has become an issue.
Like back in 2017,
Yeah.
he was accused of sexual misconduct.
Yeah, and he said it was consensual,
Right.
and there were never any charges filed.
Right. But it's still another thing to think about
Oh, absolutely.
on top of everything else.
Yeah, it just makes the whole situation even more complicated.
Yeah. And I think this is why this whole thing is so relevant
Right.
to everybody.
Yeah.
It's not just about politics.
It's about how we all interpret symbols,
Right.
especially religious symbols.
Yeah. And how do we weigh these accusations?
Right.
Like, especially when they're about things like faith and personal beliefs.
Yeah, it's really tough.
And how much should those personal beliefs even matter?
Yeah.
Like, if someone's qualified for the job,
Exactly.
should we care about what they believe?
Yeah, that's a really important question.
Yeah, so I guess, like, we've talked about Hegseth's tattoos and what people think about them and what the symbols mean and, like,
The history.
yeah, the history and the different perspectives.
Yeah.
So now I want to know, what do you think?
Oh,
Like, can a tattoo be a sign of extremism?
that's a tough one.
Yeah, and when does someone's personal beliefs
Yeah.
disqualify them from being in a position of power?
Yeah. Where do you draw the line?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, this is the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah. That's a huge responsibility.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I don't think there are any easy answers,
Right.
but I think it's important to,
To do your research.
do your research.
Think critically
Yeah,
and then decide for yourself.
exactly.
Yeah. I think this deep dive has made me,
Yeah.
like, rethink some things.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm definitely going to look at people with tattoos a
Yeah.
little differently now.
Yeah, you can't just assume you know what they mean. You have to be open-minded
Yeah.
and ask questions.
Exactly.
And then learn more about their story.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Yeah, this was a good one.
It was.
I learned a lot.
Yeah. And thanks to all of you for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.